For Joseph R. Biden of Delaware, a Democrat, ayes 55, noes 0.
California's Electoral College vote made it official. Joe Biden is the president-elect. And in the end, the formal tally of the states Joe Biden won in the November election was the procedural affair it normally is. Across the country, electors in states that Biden flipped from the Republicans cast their states' votes for the president-elect.
Joseph R. Biden has received 16 votes.
Under the U.S. Constitution, the president isn't chosen by the popular vote, but by the 538 electors of the Electoral College. However, usually they follow the majority vote in each of their states. As part of the Trump campaign's efforts to overturn the election results, efforts were made to subvert that process.
The electors have unanimously cast 16 votes for Joseph R. Biden.
But even in Michigan, one of several states where electors were given a police escort, the vote was conducted without surprise. And eventually, 306 electors across the country voted for Biden, 232 for Trump. Soon after, Joe Biden made a national address calling for the page to be turned.
306 electoral votes is the same number of electoral votes that Donald Trump and Vice President Pence received when they won in 2016. Excuse me. At the time, President Trump called the Electoral College tally a landslide. By his own standards, these numbers represented a clear victory then, and I respectfully suggest they do so now.
If nothing else, some wonder whether this rare focus on the Electoral College might lead to more discussion about whether U.S. voters should be allowed directly to vote for president.
I myself disagree that we still need an Electoral College to certify our election results, and we should really live into our principle in this country of one person, one vote, and make sure that we honor the popular vote when Americans vote for president on Election Day.
As the Electoral College finalized Biden's victory throughout the day, Trump tweeted about election fraud. He has repeated he will fight on in the courts, though it's not clear what his motivation is at this point. The Electoral College votes will now be sent to the U.S. Congress, where they will be counted and certified on January the 6th. There are reports that some Republicans may attempt a last-ditch stand at that point, which, if nothing else, will be a symbolic moment that will help a narrative that many Trump supporters still believe, that this election has been stolen. However, the polls also show that a majority of Americans do feel that it's time to move on. Shihab, Rattansi, Al Jazeera, Wilmington, Delaware.
Well, Steve Clements is the Washington editor-at-large for The Hill and host of Al Jazeera's The Bottom Line. He says it's now impossible for anyone in the Republican Party to deny Biden's victory.
Today was the day, and we've seen major senators like Senator Roy Blunt, Senator John Thune, who had really held out and had suspicions himself that he expressed about the solvency of the election, came out and said, it's time for this to end. Joe Biden is going to be the president, and they're coming around. So we've had a good number of Republican senators just today come out and say that they now recognize Joe Biden as the president-elect. So I think what's going to happen, I mean, we all, we're in the business of speculating here, and I want to let the audience know I'm speculating, is that I think that number of people, whether they're senators or members of the House of Representatives, even those House members that signed the legal brief to the Supreme Court, they're beginning to look like, comic acts, if you will. And I think that you're going to find the number of those people peel away, because there's just no way, no serious way to consider constitutionally how to undo the votes of electors. Americans don't vote for the president of the United States directly. They vote for electors, and those electors from states elect the president of the United States. That occurred today. It will, of course, be certified on January 6th, but the election happened today. And we all know how it came out and what the numbers are. So I think other members will see it. And if they don't come along with that because they fear what Donald Trump may do to them in Donald Trump's, afterlife in the post-presidency, then I think they are going to become fringe politicians and fringe in the eyes of a lot of Americans.